education sector remains one of the most affected by the coronavirus pandemic as schools have been shut down with students, teachers, and non-teaching staff all now at home. It is now over 4 months since the decision was taken to prevent the spread of the deadly pandemic. The shutdown of schools is not peculiar to Nigeria, it is the same across the world. In places where the virus is still known to be spreading, such as the United States of America, one of the debates they are currently having is about when it may be considered safe enough to reopen schools. As has been demonstrated over the past 4 months, Lagos ranks as the epicenter of COVID-19 infection in Nigeria. It is not a surprise, therefore, that the state appears to be very strict with compliance on lockdown, including closure of schools. A 2017 report on the Lagos State Government website puts the population of students in the state above 1 million. However, student enrollment in Lagos is a daily affair due mainly to daily inward migration from the rest of the country. Given that fact, the 1 million figure provided by the state is best accepted as a guesstimate. A far higher number of students are no doubt now staying at home, forced to do so by the pandemic. As in other parts of the world, there is an ongoing debate about the need to reopen schools, although there is no clear consensus on when this should or might happen. The Education Ministry has, however, been sensitizing schools across the state on what safety measures should be put in place in anticipation of reopening. While still awaiting the final confirmation for reopening, we went around some schools in Lagos State to find out how prepared they are for reopening based on the guidelines set by the state government and to see if measures are being put in place to ensure the safety of students, teachers, and staff. After this visit to the schools across the state, we invited a range of people connected with the education sector to give their opinions on the government guidelines for reopening and conditions of the schools. A school owner who spoke to us extensively said that he was ready to follow the basic guidelines by the government as he is already unhappy that his students had been away from school for too long.
Even though the children being at home without coming to school I personally is affecting me because coming to school every day, seeing them, even though seeing a smile in their face means a lot to me, and I'll be very, very happy if government can give go ahead to resume, for school to resume. They should give us the guideline, what we need to do, and probably washing hand base and the sanitizer, all that kind of thing is a minor thing that we can get in the school. And there's nothing government will say that we could get within our power we get. So we just want to make sure all the children, they meet their target. And as they are home now, there are some things that they need to be learning in the school, which they are not. So I'll be very, very happy. And I'm in support of it for government to give go ahead for the school to resume.
We also spoke with parents and teachers who shared their thoughts and their preferences on school reopening.
If I will allow my kids to go back to school during this COVID-19 and government make it official, I will not. I will not allow my kids to go because the environment is not safe for now. Even if the school provide water and soap for them to be washing their hands, if they have personal hand sanitizer for them, they have their nose masks, the environment is still not safe because the main issue now will be the social distance issue. Being kids that are very active and they are hyperactive, they cannot maintain the issue of the social distance. Then you see them jumping around one another, see them playing around, touching themselves, and this will surely make any one of them, if there's any one of them that has it, to spread it. Moreover, our government don't have enough facility to test or to manage it in case anything goes wrong. So for this moment, I would rather allow my kids to stay at home in order to play safe.
To the question if I will allow my children to resume school when government opens schools, well, I don't think I will allow my daughter to go to school for the first 1 week because I need to be sure of what they've put in place for the resumption. And I just want to guide against the fact that, when children, when one of them has cough in a class, 80 or 70% of the other children are likely going to get the um infection. So I wouldn't want her to go for the first 1 week. So after 1 week, if I see that okay, everything is fine, I might release her to go.
I'll be willing to return back to school, provided if our private schools owners are ready and willing to meet up with the set laid down procedures for school resumption by the federal government. On the side of the government schools, I don't think that's an issue because I believe it is the governors of each state that will make provisions for all the requirement needed for their resumptions. Though we need to ask ourselves some certain questions. And what are these questions? Questions like, how safe are we if we are to resume back to school? Yes, we need to be sure of our safety. We need to be sure of it. Yes, we need to be sure of our safety. Another thing we need to ask is, do I get free medications if I contact this virus at work?
COVID-19 is a public health crisis that will take a long time to go away. While it is still right now with us, we must find a way of living with it for the meantime, while the whole world continues to search for a permanent solution, which is the discovery of a vaccine that will cure this dreaded virus. Now, in order not to jeopardize the future of our children, because education is very, very important in the life of any child. So we must learn to reopen school in a safe and secure manner. When I say in a safe and secure manner, if we can have some of these measures put in place, like for instance, trying to maintain the social distancing protocol as the NCDC has also always emphasized. And let us also have put in place some hygienic measures, like let us have hand washing points, hand sanitizer also provided in school. So that's why I also want to commend the federal government for listening to the voice of reason and decided to reopen schools for those who want to do their final examinations in our various secondary schools.
While schools in some other parts of the country have now reopened, the Ministry of Education in Lagos State is insisting it will not lift the shutdown until the Ministry of Health advises that it is safe to do so. The ministry states further that when it gets that clearance, it will make all efforts to ensure that schools follow the stipulated guidelines it has established. Special appreciation to the Wole Soyinka Center for Investigative Journalism for engaging Nigeria-based journalists to carry out investigations on COVID-19 response.